Ha, must be nice. I wonder if a prince will come and pick me up too. My name is Mayuka, and I'm a 28-year-old housewife. My parents passed away when I was very young, and I had no relatives to take me in, so I grew up in an institution. I didn't have anyone I could trust, and every day I spent my time looking at people's expressions and not seeing them. But every day I read picture books, and I would run away in a delusion, wondering if a handsome prince on a white stallion would ever appear before me. But when I was 17 years old, I met Koki, who was 25 at the time, and he was the man who would eventually become my current husband. He came to see me at the facility almost every day, and I gradually became attracted to him. Why did you start coming to visit the facility, mister?
Yes. I'm a company president, in case you're wondering, and I make monthly donations to this facility here. And I come check on how things are going regularly.
Oh, is that so? Thank you very much, as always, mister.
Oh, dear Mayuka, you're so polite and well-mannered.
I'm already 17 years old, right? I don't think anyone would be willing to take me in. So once I graduate from high school, I'll work and become independent.
Good luck with that.
And so I went to graduate from high school, and around the same time, Mr. Koki started to approach me romantically, extremely aggressively. And so we wound up becoming a couple. He successfully wore me down as he listened to my concerns over time. He was the person I talked to the most at the facility. And above all, when I was thinking about the handsome prince upon a white stallion, I thought it would be great if it was he himself. We started living together almost immediately after we started dating, and 6 months later, we decided to get married. I would have a happily married life. I would finally be able to start my own family. I too had many positive thoughts about the future. However, when we decided to get married, my fiance's mother-in-law turned out to be quite a selfish person and started interfering with our lives after we got married. For example, I'll let you try to guess what she said to me when I visited her house after getting married. Well, Mayuka, you're going to be living in my house very soon. And because I'm the owner of the house, here, you do everything I say, okay? Huh? Not huh. I just knew it was a bad idea to allow a high school graduate who grew up in an orphanage to be a part of this family. They would never understand. I'm sorry. For now, you come live with me and darling Koki. In any case, my son is a company president anyway, so you must have approached him for his money, right? But perish the thought, ma'am. Dear Koki told me that he loved me and I loved him back, so I married him. I promised to treasure him as my husband. That's not what we're talking about. It's common sense that I, as their parent, should be taken care of as well, just as much as my child who is your husband. I was under the impression that I knew absolutely nothing about the world, so I was convinced that if my mother-in-law said so, then it must be true. And as she said, her son Koki is the president of a small company. He seems to be very busy with his job as president, so I sometimes go to his office to help out with miscellaneous tasks and work, and the employees and I got along famously well. On the other days when I didn't have to help out, I didn't have any work, so I almost lived like a housewife. There was one person who didn't take a liking to that, and that was none other than my mother-in-law. Just so you know, her husband is working elsewhere alone and only comes home once in a while, so she was selfishly claiming I am the person who is in charge of the house. And boy, oh boy, did she have her way with me. I know that you don't have many job opportunities because you're a high school graduate, but I'm not going to allow you to let Koki work all the time and become a shut-in yourself. I'm sorry, ma'am, but if I may, Koki's opinion about this is that I shouldn't go to work. That's why it's become this way. But I also want to go to work, so could you talk to him about this? Oh, was this darling Koki's opinion? If that's the case, can't be helped, I suppose. By the way, when are you going to move in here? That hasn't been decided yet. Are you serious? You're too slow to act. You better move in soon, alright? Or else. I have to teach you how to be a good wife. I'll talk to Koki about it, ma'am. After I left, she apparently consulted Koki as well, and when he came home from work, her and I had a talk about living together with his mother.
Didn't Mom talk to you about living together? Why didn't you tell me right away?
I'm sorry, but I thought it would be better if it was just the two of us since we just got married, so...
What are you talking about? Mom is saying she wants to live together with us. In that case, wouldn't it be best for us to move in to live with her right away and make her happy?
Huh?
You really are a dumb, ignorant woman, aren't you? If you can't respect my parents, we should just get a divorce then.
No, please.
Well, the only one who's gonna have a hard time getting divorced is you anyway. For now, start packing so we can move in with Mom quickly. And do it quickly!
He didn't even listen to what I had to say and decided it all on his own, so I couldn't say anything back. I didn't have anyone to talk to, so I thought that was common knowledge and ignorance on my part. And so starting the next day, I packed all my things into cardboard boxes. After that, Koki immediately asked a moving company and set a specific date without consulting me. Moving day. Thank you for having us, ma'am. As soon as I arrived at Koki's mother's house, I greeted her as I always did. But what was her reaction, you ask? Well then, please clean up the house now, okay? But the luggage... You can do all that after you're done, Koki, darling. You must be tired. Come on inside and get some rest.
Really, this woman's not been helping me at all, Mom.
Really? I'm so disappointed such a useless woman snatched in her web of stupidity. Koki?
The hell do you want?
I did all the packing. Why would you say something like that?
If you're gonna complain about something like this, we're getting a divorce, all right?
Don't say things like that.
I guess you're right. If I do divorce you, you'll be dead on the street in no time. Be a good girl then, and just don't talk back and do what I say, properly.
I understand. Taking advantage of me not being able to say anything back, Koki smiled with triumphant satisfaction and went into the house. Once inside, my mother-in-law gave me a vacuum cleaner and whispered in my ear, "From now on, all the housework would be your job." I had a bad feeling about it all ever since she told me that she wanted to be living with me and Koki, but this confirmed it. She only saw me as her housekeeper. I was curious about what they were doing when I finished cleaning and cooking, so I went to check on them and found my mother-in-law lying on the sofa in the living room watching TV. Koki wasn't in the room, so I thought that maybe he was unpacking stuff for us in the room, so I went to our room. That's where I found him lying in bed, also watching TV. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't you unpack your stuff? You need a suit for tomorrow, right?
Unpacking everything is your job, woman. I have an obligation to rest in preparation for tomorrow onward when I'll be busy with work again. You do it.
Wouldn't it be faster if we did it together?
I'm letting you be a full-time housewife. Just do your job without complaining.
But don't I also have to go to work for 2 weeks starting tomorrow? Isn't that the same as working a job, albeit a short time?
Don't mix being a company president and being a housewife in the same pod. I'm a man who makes more money than most other people in the world, you know. Just be frickin' grateful that I'm letting a high school graduate like you work at my company.
If that's the case, could you at least pay me some kind of part-time salary?
Why would I do that? If I'm paying you, I'd rather pay my employees more.
Is that so? Well, no matter, but instead, you unpack your things for today. I have been forced to do a lot of housework all day, and I don't have much energy left.
And whose fault is that? It has nothing to do with me. Just freaking do your job properly.
I found myself in this situation every day and became increasingly worried about my future. But I couldn't imagine a future where I could survive on my own. So I couldn't decide to divorce him and be free of this madness. So the real reason why he married me was because he was hoping to treat someone who had no relatives as his housekeeper. And I, naive and ignorant about the world, could not accept divorce easily and could not complain. So that's what it was. I cried tears of shame and sadness about myself and my current life. However, even if I actually took the leap of faith, I had no idea where to go, and I didn't really know how to get divorced at all. So all I could do was cling on to this house for dear life, essentially. It's been 10 years since my life's been as such, and Koki's abuse towards me became even stronger and more brutal. I deeply regretted the fact that I didn't muster the courage to divorce him when I was younger, but the fact remained. Such a man took me as his wife when I was 18 years old and completely alone, and he provided for me. And I was grateful to him. But the abuse he would cast my way has left my spirit in shreds and tatters, and I can no longer think about anything at all. Such was I, a human hollowed out by abuse and housework, but a new disaster was about to befall me.
Hey, Mom's been taken to the hospital. You go see her, please.
Hospital? What happened?
It seems like she fell and broke her leg while she was out shopping.
Okay. Which hospital? After finding out the name of the hospital, I hurried to where she was being treated. Ma'am, are you all right? Oh, you came? What about darling Koki? About that, it appears he has an important business meeting going on and he can't leave just now. And he asked me to go on his behalf. You didn't have to come visit me. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. From now on, please visit me every day to take care of me and help me get better, okay? The sheer scale of stupidity of her outrageous comments made me freeze on the spot. It's impossible for me to come visit you every day, ma'am. I'm sure you know, but I work as a helper at your son's company, and especially nowadays, I'm very busy with the settling of the accounts, working full-time and all. So what? That doesn't have anything to do with me, does it? You have to put me as your top priority. A wife cherishes her mother-in-law for all eternity, understand? Just the other day, you told me to put Koki as my top priority. If you want me to prioritize you over him, I'd be neglecting him and his well-being. I will not allow that. Just do your goddamn best. If you don't treat me well as my son's wife, it'll make him think that my education of you isn't good enough. His company headquarters is nearby, so please ask him to take care of you. I'll also tell him myself. I said that and left the hospital room. As soon as I left the hospital room, a doctor called me over and I was led into a private consultation room. I found out that her leg was going to be semi-paralyzed forever. I waited for my husband to come home so I could tell him about it, and when he did come home late at night, he smelled of a woman's perfume, something he doesn't usually do. Although I thought it was suspicious, I talked to him about the after effects his mother would experience. The doctor told me her legs are going to be partially paralyzed. It seems like there's a chance that she'll get better if she goes through rehabilitation, but...
Well then, you should take care of her then. I'm pretty busy nowadays, as you know.
She's your mother, right? I think she would be happier if you could take care of her.
But my mother is essentially the same as your mother. She took you in when you were going to be alone for the rest of your life. You take good care of her.
Koki tried to force me to take care of his mother. I was disgusted by this monster of a man. He made me do all of the housework on the daily while he didn't do shit at home in his spare time. And now he forced me to take care of his mother. I thought that if I refused here, he would use the whole switcheroo, the term I coined for using divorce, to threaten me. I decided to hold out for a little while longer and decided to transfer my mother-in-law to a hospital near the house. Since then, I went to rehabilitation with her and she started to recover. When she was discharged from the hospital, an incredible incident occurred. I was at home doing housework as usual. Koki said he had plans to eat out with the president of the company he partnered with, so I knew he was getting home late. Time went on and then he sent me a text message. When I saw what it said, I realized that all my efforts for the past decade had been in vain. I had endured a lot of bullying from his mother and had dealt rather well with his selfishness, but this kind of treatment was too much for me. So I contacted a certain person, make a call to arms, and take action. A few days later, from today onwards, Koki, you will take care of the housework and your mother. I won't be helping anymore.
What? You little... Do you think such selfishness will be tolerated?
Well, because up until now, I've been so resilient against you and your mother's relentless abuse and bullying, and yet you betrayed me.
What are you talking about? I never did shit.
Ha! Does the name Saya ring a bell?
What?
When I told him the name of a certain woman, Koki became visibly upset, so I decided to get revenge for what happened. I've already looked into everything. No need to hide it anymore. And here you go. When I showed him a certain photo, he gave up, made a complete 180, and went on saying the most abusive comments he'd ever laid upon me.
Oh, Well, you found out. Well, forgive me for cheating once. You're my wife after all, you have to.
Perhaps he thought I couldn't divorce him, for his attitude became one of extreme arrogance. Is that so? Still, unfortunately, it seems like I won't be able to forgive you, so I shall voluntarily resign as your wife.
What are you talking about? Gonna divorce me, are ya? Then you'll be poor little Mayuka all alone in the world. There's no way you can live alone, can you? Wouldn't it be better for your sake if you didn't mention the concept of divorce in my presence, huh?
No, I don't believe so. I want to break away from my life of being oppressed by you traitors.
If you lose my current life, the only one who will be in trouble is you, understand? If you're okay with that, I'll sign my signature on the green paper.
Can we move on? Please fill us out then, if you so desire. I handed him the green paper I had prepared, and Koki filled it out with the most smug look on his face.
If you submit this now, we'll have to part ways, understand? Don't rely on me if you have any troubles in the future.
Thank you. Well, I'm leaving now, and I hope never to see you again. Goodbye. And so that's how I wound up moving out of my husband's family's home I had lived in for about a decade. After I left, I headed to a certain place and had them take care of me for a short while. A few days later, early in the morning, my cell phone started ringing. Hey, where the hell are you now?
We're in big trouble right now. Get your ass back right now!
Huh? I'm not going back, and I'm a complete stranger to you as of now, so don't contact me ever again, please. You don't say things like that. You're my son's wife, and his father's come home and he's furious about something. No, the divorce has already been finalized and my ex-husband is nothing but a stranger to me now. Wouldn't it be better if you went back to your husband's home to re-educate yourself? A wife cherishes her mother-in-law for all eternity, was it, ma'am? Well, I...
More to the point, what? Did you actually submit that sheet of paper? I thought it was impossible because you can't live all alone in the world.
I decided to divorce you from the moment I realized that you were cheating on me.
That's it. You must have said something to darling Saya.
No one would do such a terrible thing to someone else now, would they? It wasn't me, guys. It was the lawyer I hired. When they heard the word lawyer, the silence became so humorously loud for a moment before they started making a fuss on the other end of the phone. Come to think of it, we received a letter in the mail. Proof of contents, was it? That it said on the envelope?
I tore that bullshit up and threw it away, Mom. I didn't think we would need it since we were already divorced.
Wait, you didn't check what the letter actually said? If you threw it away without reading it, you'll be in huge trouble, you know?
And what will happen?
A trial. What are you telling darling Koki right now? I won't let you do something like that. Is that so? If that's the case, then you will pay on his behalf now, won't you? The alimony? My ex-mother-in-law then got so humorously upset over those two words and went saying something to Koki. Koki, darling! I only allowed you to divorce her because you told me that you would bring home a prettier, richer wife than this bitch who was always such a failure. What the hell?
But I didn't think Saya would find out that I was already married.
And she didn't for 3 years. She was going out with a man whom she thought was completely dedicated to her, only to find out he was already taken? Who wouldn't get angry with you? What? I realized what he meant when he said that he was having dinner with a business partner, when in reality he was cheating on me with his boss's daughter. And if he found out, that company president would be really pissed off. Then the reason the new wife isn't coming? I guess it's because the company president became so furious that he's warned everyone around him.
What? What'd you mean?
There isn't a father in the world who wouldn't get angry when his beloved daughter got hurt by a man. Miss Saya cried with apology.
Oh my God!
What do you mean? I mean that your son will not have a wife or an offer of a partnership from anywhere else forevermore. My words made both of them gasp.
You're having trouble with your life, right? Come back. I'll let you live a married life with me again.
He spoke to me in a gentle voice as if he had just remembered what I was to him. I told him, plainly and directly, what I was thinking right then and there. I have been asking for your help for 10 whole years. I've been looking to you for at least some happiness in my life, but you continue to look down on me with your arrogant mother. I cannot trust you. I don't want you to have anything to do with me ever again. To help your company, I received the official qualifications of an accountant and a secretary. And to whom do you owe all the job applications through online advertising of the company? I'm the one who took on the work and spread it around.
Were you doing that with my money?
Give him back that money. I used the estate I inherited from my parents. I paid for getting the aforementioned qualifications, and I also contributed to living expenses later on. All of this was also written in the proof of contents, though. What the hell? If you had money all along, why didn't you tell us? My mentors at the orphanage strictly told me to keep it a secret because there would be people who would be after that money.
Then at least give me a share of that. I'm gonna lose my job because of you, you know.
This is something I inherited before I ever married you. It has nothing to do with you. And this is what I told them in the end. In any case, I will demand a handsome amount of alimony for the affair and divorce, and additional compensation for the years and years of relentless psychological abuse that I have suffered. Also, it seems like you may have committed something like marriage fraud to Miss Saya, and I hear that they're preparing to sue you too. Prepare yourselves.
No, please. Hey, Mayuka, it was my fault. Please, forgive me. Please. I now know how important you are to me.
It's too late now. Ma'am, please go to your husband's family and fulfill your duties as his wife. My father-in-law is happy about all of this, you know. Well then, you may communicate to me through my lawyer. And then I promptly blocked both of their contact information and demanded alimony and compensation. He had been oppressing me for the past decade and had cheated on me. He'd also lied about being single, which was deemed deeply malicious. And these two ensured I would receive a considerable amount of money. I then decided to use the money to move and live in a new house. The two chowderheads were taken to my ex-father-in-law's home and are being disciplined severely. According to what my ex-father-in-law told me later, it was quite harsh. Apparently, things were never good between Koki's mother and grandmother, and had been keeping a distance from her. But after hearing about this incident, he decided to take her to his family home to destroy his wife's arrogance and selfishness. Koki was forced to work from morning until night every day, and all of his salary is being transferred to me as monthly installments for alimony and compensation. I wish I had acted sooner, but thanks to the qualifications I have now, I should have no trouble getting a job, and I think I learned a lot about social studies and morals. I know I'll have some trouble working in a new environment, but I will do my best to live a good life.